Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to your C++ tutorial series. This video, we're going to be talking a little bit about refactoring. Specifically, we're going to refactor our input and output to a function call. Talked about this briefly in a previous video, and now we're actually going to implement that. It's really only going to take a couple of seconds, so I thought I'd fill this video with a little bit more context and information on how to refactor code in the best way possible. So first thing, I need you to check out our sponsor, Embarcadero Rad Studio. Rad Studio is the IDE of choice for C++ development. Quickly build native mobile and desktop applications from a single C++ codebase and deploy to Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. With Rad Studio, user interface design has been made easy with hundreds of pre-built components for cross-platform development. You can easily integrate with popular source control management systems, databases, APIs, and you can make your life easier with numerous third-party extensions. Let Rad Studio do the heavy lifting when it comes to C++ development. Give it a go with a free trial by following the link in the description. Now when it comes to code refactoring, you should have a couple of goals. One is to have a clean flow. So function calls over logic. And what exactly do I mean by that? When you're going through your code, and a good example of this is in our main function here, when you're going through your code, you just have a function call instead of having the actual logic to play the game here. So when you're reading through code, it should be basically English seeing exactly what's going on step by step as a series of function calls. Obviously, you can do this to the extreme where there's tons and tons of functions, or you can be on the other spectrum and not do it enough where all of your code is inline. I think there's a happy medium where you have a decent amount of function calls, but not too many function calls. Personally, I feel there can be too many function calls. People may disagree with me, and that's totally fine. I sometimes like just to have stuff inline because then you can flow with the code, the logic of the code. So you gotta find the happy medium, what works best for you. The third main goal of refactoring is to just focus on design patterns and not creating an application that's very specific to the problem you're trying to solve. As a general rule of thumb, as you get better with coding, you can start thinking more about the design of your application and less on solving the problem. And what do I mean by this? Well, it's very easy to write code that's very specific to the problem you're trying to solve. You know, you might end up having like nested if statements and loops like 3 or 4 layers deep, and it's very specific, it's very confusing to read, it's just a disgusting mess. Instead, you can look at a bigger picture and figure out how you can design the application in a way that makes the code nice and easy to read. Now, there are a lot of tools that will do automatic refactoring. So for example, usually an IDE, integrated development environment, such as Rad Studio, will have capabilities to extract functions and do a lot more. So if you want to know the refactoring capabilities with Rad Studio, just look up Refactoring Rad Studio. You'll find lots of examples. It's a great way to use tooling to help you develop and to amplify your coding experience. Now, what are we going to be doing in this video? Well, now that I've been blabbering for about 20 minutes, we're going to create a new function. So go up to the very top, and this is going to be called save score, and it's going to be a void function, and this is going to take the guess count. In other words, how many guesses it took us to get it correctly. So we'll just call it guess count, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into play game, and we're going to cut all of the logic about saving. We're going to cut this out of here and paste it in that function. So all the way down to here, cut that out of here, go up to the top, and paste that inside of our new function, save score. Make sure everything is indented correctly. And now all we have to do is call this function. So we'll copy the name here, go back down into play game, so we'll just pass in count. All right, let's compile, see if it's still working. All right, so it looks like we have a name mismatch because inside of the code for the function, we're using the count variable that we had earlier, but we renamed it to guess count, so I'm just going to change it back to count, and it should fix everything. There we go. And we can run the application, play the game, and we can make guesses and everything like that. Now it says unable to read file because the file is locked, but other than that, I think everything should work just fine. Now another thing you should consider when it comes to refactoring and building out functions is testability. Now we haven't really talked about software testing much in this video, but basically it's easier to test a function that's small and does one thing. So if a function is outputting and saving to files and doing all this crazy stuff, sort of like our function is doing right now, it's very hard to make an automated test. Generally, an automated test will do an input and see if the output is the correct output. and then we can automate that process and we can put that part of like a build process, for example. So basically we can create a collection of all these automated tests and we can go through each one, and if every single one passed, then we can deploy our application. Otherwise, we have issues and we need to go back and make sure our functions are correct. Automated testing is a huge thing in software, so that's probably a series of its own. I'm not really going to get into it much in this video, but when you're creating functions, try to think of them as simple, give it an input, and get the expected output. Let's go through a simple example of what I mean. So let's create a new file. We're just going to call this test.cpp, and we're just going to create a function in here that's very obvious on how it should work. So first, let's include IOStream and create our main function. This is going to return, let's say, a double, we'll call it squared, and it's going to take a number, we'll just take a double x. What's it going to do? It's going to return x times x. Very super simple. The way you could test something like this is you could do an if statement and say, if squared of 5 equals 25, you could say test passed. Then we can compile test.cpp and run. And you can see it says test passed. So what you could do is you could basically make a test collection where you have else clauses that would say test failed, and you would have numerous tests to make sure your functions are working correctly. So for example, if you pass in -5, you should expect it to also be 25. And you can see the test still passed. So a very, very simple example, but testing is huge. You definitely want to make sure you study on that. Testing and refactoring go hand in hand. That's because tests ensure that your refactoring truly works the same way, which is basically the key ingredient of refactoring, is you change the behind code, but the front end works exactly the same way. You can ensure it works the same way by running a series of automated tests. So before you refactor a huge application, you'll definitely want to make sure you have a pretty good suite of tests that can verify that the code is working correctly. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. Very simple. I know there's a lot of blabbering, so hopefully it was useful and not just, yo, Caleb's going on a spiel again. But that's all I got. Check out the next video and please be sure to subscribe.